Hello and welcome to my review of how Aston Villa have been performing in the last few weeks in Champions League, FA Cup and Premier League football. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to my social media channels and don't forget to comment. Today I'm joined by my dad, Councillor Waseem Zaffar. I'll be discussing how Villa have been playing in recent weeks and seeing how Villa will play in the last few games of the season.
Hi, Mikhail. Thank you for inviting me in today. How are you?
Good, thank you.
And you've been a really good boy because you've been fasting right throughout Ramadan, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well done. For a 9-year-old, that's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. How do you think we've been playing in the Premier League?
So, Mikhail, I think Premier League, we've not performed as well as we should have. We're still 4 or 5 points off a Champions League spot. We've played well against some of the big sides and not so well against some of the sides that we should be beating. But I'm looking forward to the coming weeks after the international break and seeing Villa really kick on in the Premier League and ensure that we do qualify for the Champions League, which is absolutely imperative for Aston Villa Football Club moving forward.
How do you think we played against Brentford?
So the Brentford away game was quite a tough game, but we secured a win. Villa won that 1-0. Ollie Watkins scored a really good goal. We nearly doubled that lead very, very quickly, but there was a Morgan Rogers goal ruled out for offside. It's millimetres again. So that was a really important win for us before this break. And we've seen in the last few days, whilst we haven't been playing, other teams have been playing around us. Some of the results have gone for us and some of the results haven't gone for us. But that Brentford game, I think, was really important after disappointments at Crystal Palace, disappointments against Ipswich. I think we really do need to have a big season. We've got a lot of tough games coming up in the Premier League, but I'm very optimistic that we will kick on, in particular with Rashford and Asensio now really looking like a dream partnership for the Villa that will kick on and qualify for Champions League football, which for me, looking at it all, has to be our number one priority. If Villa are not playing Champions League football next year, despite doing well in the Cups and the Champions League this year, I think that will be a major setback for the club as a whole in the direction of travel that we're going. So how do you think we've been playing in the Premier League?
Sometimes we played well and sometimes it's not so well, and we need to be more consistent.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We really need to. And I know Unai Emery will be using this period of time to plan those crucial games in the Premier League. We're playing a lot of the teams that are around us, and they're going to be big 6-pointers. So I'm quite confident that we will kick on. Arsenal and Liverpool are doing really well. The bubble hasn't burst at Forest. Previously we predicted maybe the bubble will burst. Forest are still playing very good football and they've got a bit of a lead in third place for the team in fourth. And then there's a few of us who are 4 or 5 points between. There's 4 or 5 points between us. So it's going to be very, very close there.
What do you think our chances of winning the FA Cup?
So I think we've got a real chance to win the FA Cup. We've not done well at all in the FA Cup in recent years. At times we haven't got past the third round, but looking at it, there's ourselves and Man City, which are the top Premier League football clubs that have left. We've got the best draw in the next round in the quarter-final, getting Preston North End. They can't be underestimated. They're a good club, but they're not as tough as some of the other sides. We're travelling away to Preston North End, and then there's a real potential of a Wembley visit for the semi-final, and hopefully we'll go on to win the cup. I'm quite optimistic that we could win the FA Cup. How do you think we've done in the FA Cup thus far?
We need to get to the finals. Hopefully we play Man City.
The first time you went to Wembley, I know you've been to Wembley since then to watch England, but the first time you went to Wembley, you probably won't even remember it because you were only 4 or 5 years of age, was to see the League Cup final between Man City and Villa, where Samatta scored for Villa. I still remember that. But we unfortunately lost, so it'd be good to get revenge. I'd really be up to playing against Man City in the final of the FA Cup. We can beat any side in world football right now, and we can definitely take on Manchester City. Would you like to go to Wembley to watch the semi-final first and foremost, and then the final?
Of course I would.
You love going to Wembley, don't you? It's one of your favourite grounds after Villa Park. Travelling on the train there, travelling on the train back late at night. snoring away on the train on the way back as you always do. You like that, don't you? You're a bit embarrassed that I mentioned that you snore on the train back. But so we're still in the Champions League. We are in the last 8 of the Champions League. Aston Villa Football Club. We've not been there for decades. How do you feel about that?
We still have PSG to play. If we do go to, we have Real Madrid or Arsenal
in the semi-final, and then Barcelona in the final, or Dortmund, or Bayern Munich. We're quite optimistic, the pair of us, aren't we? So if somebody said to me 9 years ago when we got relegated that Villa will be playing in 9 years' time PSG in the quarter-final of the Champions League, I've never believed it. But we are, and it's phenomenal. Bruges were, they beat us in the league format, but we absolutely played them off the park in both legs of the last 16, didn't we? And Asensio can't stop scoring in the Champions League. Marco Asensio, eh? What a player. What do you think about Marco Asensio?
Scored 7 goals in his last 5 games for Villa. He got 2 goals against Cardiff in the FA Cup and 2 goals against Chelsea in a 2-1 win against them. And then he gets 1 goal against Bruges in the first leg and then brags 2 more goals in the second leg.
Rashford hasn't scored yet, but he's got loads of assists, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And them two seem to be playing really, really well. They've really clicked. Ollie Watkins is still our number 1 striker, but he will be under pressure with the way that Asensio and Rashford play. Morgan Rogers is still playing fantastic football. I'm really excited. I think we're starting to get back to full fitness. I think Ross Barkley is probably our only player who's out injured at the moment. We are doing really well in the Champions League. I know you wanted PSG in the quarterfinals, didn't you?
Yeah.
If we do go to beat PSG in the quarterfinal, which would be an extraordinary achievement, but one that we can potentially do ourselves. Villa can beat any of these 8 teams, can beat anybody on the day, and Villa can definitely beat PSG, and it's going to be tough. There's no doubt about that. Who would you want in the semi-final?
It's a tough choice. Sometimes we play good against Arsenal in the Premier League.
We do. We've got a good record against them in recent years, haven't we?
Yeah, Ollie Watkins scoring every time we play against them.
And he supported them as a boy.
Yeah.
He's always been linked with them, but he does score the goals, yeah. So you'd like Arsenal ahead of Real Madrid?
Nope.
You want Real Madrid, don't you?
Yeah, they have a good trio: Mbappe, Rodrigo, and Vinicius Jr.
And we want to beat the best. If we are going to go on to win the Champions League this year, which would be, wow, that would be quite crazy. Just to even think about that right now. We want to be able to have said we beat everybody. And would you want the final? Barcelona or Dortmund or Munich? We beat Munich already. Is Bayern Leverkusen? Are they still in the competition or are they not that?
Nope.
They're not, are they?
Inter Milan still in.
Inter Milan still there. They're a great team too, aren't they?
Yeah.
So we're getting ahead of ourselves, but we've got a good game against PSG coming up. We're looking forward to that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, we've got the home ticket sorted. I think the away tickets might be a bit tough, but we've got our home ticket sorted, and we're looking forward to the game.
So you asked me, who do you want in the final if we do get there? It's a tough choice because Dortmund last year got to the finals and it's hard against Munich now because we have no Duran.
Yeah, the Duran scored against them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, we've got Asensio and we've got Rashford. And we've got a much stronger defence, haven't we? We've got Disasi, who's been brilliant. We're spoiled for choice. Well, he's going really well, isn't he?
Yeah.
So we've got quarterfinals of the Champions League, quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Hopefully we go on to win the FA Cup. We continue on our merry way in the Champions League too. Let's see where that takes us. But the Premier League is going to be important. If we don't qualify for the Champions League and we've done well in the FA Cup and we've done well in the Champions League, it's not going to be the sort of season that we want, don't we? We really want to be playing Champions League football every year, don't we?
But talking about the FA Cup, it's been like 8-7 years since we got to the finals.
It's been many years since we got final, and it's been a very, very long time since we won it. I know we won the League Cup twice in the 90s, but I don't know when was the last time we won the FA Cup. And we like going Wembley, we want to go to Wembley, but hey ho. Hey Mikhail, thank you for having me today on your show, on your podcast. I know you're doing a remarkable job. I know you've been busy with Ramadan and everything else and your schoolwork, but thank you for having me on the show, and I'm really, really proud of you.
My pleasure to have you. Please follow, like and subscribe to my social media channels and comment on my videos. Up the Villa!